Stephenson, Joshua Hill, thank you for being here on the show. Tell me a bit of what July 4th is and what is the importance of particular this day.
Sure, sure. And I appreciate it. I'm very honored to be asked to do this. First, let me start with a bit of trivia for your audience. The 4th of July is the foundational date of this country. It's the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And historically, there are three different presidents of the United States that all died on the 4th of July, two of them on the same day, and one a few years later. So the first to go was Thomas Jefferson. The second to go was John Adams, and his last words reportedly were, "Jefferson lives." Unfortunately, Jefferson had died just a few hours earlier. And then about 5 years later, James Monroe, another president, I think he was the fifth president, he also passed on. So a very historic date, not only from the presidential level, but the formation of this country. But the 4th of July is probably the most revered date in American history, as it signaled the start of America. The 4th of July is the most important date in American history, as it's the date when the Declaration of Independence was signed. And that date was the day we declared our independence from the King of England. So the 4th of July, despite the trivia and the historical significance, it means a lot to me as well, because actually it was my mother's birthday. She would be 96 years old today had she survived. But, not only am I grateful to my mother, right? Everyone's grateful to their mother, but I'm also grateful, eternally grateful, to the 56 men who put their lives on the line. They put their reputations on the line. They put their fortunes on the line when they all signed this document, the Declaration of Independence. And when they did that, they signed on to a document that endures to this day, part of which reads, and this is so true about the United States, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." These men signed that document acknowledging, quote, "a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence." And they mutually pledged to each other their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. So in the United States today, we honor those men who had the courage to sign that document to start the formation of the United States. But we also take today to honor all of those who have served to preserve the Republic, the United States of America. So I hope you all will join me in praying for peace in all corners of the world. Salam. Peace be with you.
How are the young generation embracing July 4th?
I think the younger people are taught the importance of the formation of this country, but I don't know that they embrace it as deeply as I do, as deeply as people of my generation do. I was born in the 50s. I lived through the Cold War. I lived through the Vietnam War. My generation served in the Vietnam War. I think the millennials and the Gen X's might be a little bit distanced from this very important aspect of American history. But that's not to say that they won't embrace it. It's a matter of, I think it needs to be driven deeper into their hearts, into their minds from an educational perspective.
What are the main pillars of the Declaration of Independence?
The main pillars would be the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to keep and bear arms, not so much for personal protection as played out in the press, but the right to keep and bear arms in order to, if necessary, defend themselves against yet another oppressive regime. I think, in a pure constitutional perspective, that's the intent of the Second Amendment. There were many grievances that were listed in the Declaration of Independence, and I encourage everyone to read it. It's a beautiful document. It's a little tough to read. The language is old, but the points that are made are very well formed, very well articulated. Basically, it says, at this point in time, we are severing our ties with a country that has grown abusive to our population and does not respect us. Consequently, we are declaring our independence. So it's a living document that has continued on, since 1776.